Hey, GED students. I had a student, Leahmari, send this tricky problem in on YouTube in one of the comments on one of my videos. And yeah, it's a challenge. So let's get started and give it a try. It says, Poppy bought 2 pens, a book, and a bag. All right. The book cost 3 times as much as the pen, and the bag cost $15 more than the book. She spent $175 altogether. What was the cost of the book? So, the real challenge here to this problem is that we actually have 3 things we don't know. It says the book costs 3 times as much as the pen, but we don't know how much the pen costs. And then it says, and the bag costs 15 more than the book, but we don't know how much the bag costs or the book. So we just have this dilemma here that we have what we call 3 unknowns. And it's very challenging. When you have 3 things you don't know, what you want to do is you want to be able to talk about these things in terms of each other, as related to each other, so that you can use the same variable, the same letter. So let me show you what I mean. So the first thing I want to do is define my variable. I want to use a letter. That's what we do in algebra, to stand in for an unknown. So let me look back over these things I don't know. Okay. The book costs 3 times as much as the pen. Okay, so I'm relating the cost of the book to the pen. And the bag costs $15 more than the book. Okay, so I think what I'll start with then is the pen, because the very first statement I have relates the cost of the book to the cost of the pen. Let's define a variable for our pen. So what we'll do here is every time we use the variable P, we'll have it stand for the cost of the pen. Now, of course, what I want to do is I want to be able to use P to talk about the cost of all the other things, because all the other things are related to the cost of the pen. And if I can use the same variable, my life is going to be easier. That's how I'm going to be able to solve this sucker. So let's look at this statement then. Let's hone in on it. The book costs 3 times as much as the pen. So we don't know how much the pen costs. We said it costs P, but we do know a relationship between the book and the pen. The book costs 3 times as much as the pen, 3 Ps. And so if you want to talk about the cost of the book, you could write 3 Ps. That's 3 times the cost of a pen. That represents the cost of a book. And now I have a way to talk about 2 of my unknowns, the cost of the book and the cost of the pen, using the same letter, P, and that's our goal, okay? But we have 3 unknowns here. We didn't know the pen, we didn't know the book, and we didn't know the bag. So we also need an expression to represent the cost of the bag. So let's pull up another color here. And let's go see what we know about the bag. It says the bag costs 15 more than the book. 15 more than the book. So, well, how much did we just say the book costs? We just said the book costs 3p. So we need 15 more than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3p. And to get 15 more than that, I'll add 15. And that expression there is the cost of the bag. See, it's 15 more than the book. Awesome. Now that we have expressions to represent each of our 3 unknowns, and all of those expressions use the same letter, P, now I can write an equation. It's an equation that I need. I can't solve an expression. I can't solve and figure out what P is equal to, or really what anything is equal to, until I have an equation. So we've got to look for a relationship of equality to make an equation. And I see one here. Let's take a look at this next statement. She spent $175 altogether. Well, that's the grand total of her spending. So that's super easy, because what I can do is I can just total up all the things she bought, and I know that that total is going to equal 175. So now let's total up all the things she bought. Poppy bought 2 pens. So she bought 2, and how much does a pen cost? Well, P. So 2 times P. And she also, so plus, bought a book. Well, how much does a book cost? A book costs 3P, so I'll put plus 3P. And she bought a bag. And how much do we say a bag costs? A bag costs 3P plus 15. And you say, should I write the 3P again? Yeah, one of them was the cost of the book, and one of them was the cost of the bag. So there we go. We have 2P plus 3P plus 3P plus 15 is equal to 175. If she buys 2 pens, a book, and a bag, it will cost her a total of $175. That's what that equation says right there. And now that we have an equation, we can solve this equation in order to figure out, in this case, what P is. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so remember, when solving an equation, you should simplify if at all possible before you start solving. And I do see some math I know how to do. I know how to add like terms. 2P, 3P, and 3P are like. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 P's. Now, there's no other plain old whole numbers over there, so 8P plus 15 is equal to 175. Okay, I've done all the simplifying I can do. It's time to start solving, working to get that letter alone. Remember, when you're solving, you work the order of operations backwards. So I'm going to move anything adding or subtracting first. So I take away that term of 15 by subtracting 15 from both sides. And let's see what our new equation will be. Adding 15 and subtracting 15 are opposites. They cancel. I get 8P is equal to, and 175 minus 15, I believe, gives me 160. P is almost alone. I just have that 8 hanging out. Got to get rid of it. I'm going to do that by doing the opposite of multiplying by 8. I'm going to divide by 8. Of course, I can do whatever I want as long as I do it to both sides. Multiplying and dividing by 8 are opposites. They cancel. P is alone, just like I wanted. And 160 divided by 8, you can do that in your calculator if you can't see it, but that's $20. Did I really just figure out a pen is 20? That is so expensive. Holy moly. Poppy, you're not making wise life decisions. I'm all checking my math. It looks so wrong. Okay, we'll check it at the end in case I'm wrong. And then if I am, we'll redo the whole video so you all never know. Okay, sweet. So a $20 pen, Poppy, dear Lord. Okay, let's keep going here. Because I need you to watch out. A lot of times people say, oh, P's alone, I must be done, move on. The answer is 20, but take a look. Don't forget to check your final question because we have 3 unknowns here. We didn't know the cost of the pen, we didn't know the cost of the book, and we didn't know the cost of the bag. So really, they could have asked us about any of those things. So take a look here. Final answer, or the final question was, what was the cost of the book? Not the pen that we just solved for, but the book. And you say, well, Kate, all my work was wasted. No, it wasn't wasted because we know the cost of the book is 3 times the cost of the pen. I mean, we wrote that expression, 3P. We said 3P was the cost of the book, and now we know what P is. We just found out that P is 20, so we can substitute that back in and then find out that the cost of the book is $60. Holy moly. Poppy, where are you buying your books? Okay, $60 then is the cost of my book. Oh my gosh, I told you that these numbers seem really, really huge and I want to check my work, so let's do it. I'm going to erase this just to make sure that this is true because I feel like Poppy's spending a whole lot of money. Okay, so Poppy bought 2 pens, so we just said that the cost of a pen would be $20, so that'd be 20 plus 20. Or 2 times 20, whatever. And then she bought a book. We just said the cost of the book would be $60. And then she bought a bag. Okay, so the bag was 3P. I'm just doing some work to figure out how much that would be. Plus 15. So 3 times 20, we already know is 60. Plus 15 would be $75. Okay, so $75 for the bag. Oh, I don't know where Poppy's shopping. Poppy has more money than I do. That's because I'm a teacher, yeah. 20 plus 20 plus 60 plus 75. Oh, yeah, $175. All right, it did check. Whew. Poppy just doesn't make wise decisions with her money. All right, you guys. So what was the cost of the book? It was $60. So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is well, let's start with the bad news. Does this come up on the GED? Does this come up on the GED? Everyone's like, does this come up? Do I really need to know this? And so I guess the bad news is, yeah, like kind of. But the good news is if it were to come up on the GED, it would be multiple choice. So you wouldn't have to be able to write all these expressions and write an equation by yourself. You could just check your answer with multiple choice and plug it in and see if it worked. Like if the book cost $60, does my math check to give me $175? And that's much easier than writing your own expressions and equations. So don't let yourself get intimidated by these kind of problems, but it is very useful to be able to speak the language of algebra to be able to solve them, especially when you don't have a multiple choice problem. All right, if you have any questions about this or any other GED math topic, be sure to drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it.